Regular meeting of the New Brunswick Parking Authority for January 2017. Council, can I dispense with this reading the notice again?
Well, no, we have the public here, and of course we're on the record, so for purposes of the record,
Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been complied with and satisfied, and that the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time, place, and conduct of all public meetings of the New Brunswick Parking Authority, has been filed with the city clerk, has been placed on the appropriate bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the city of New Brunswick, namely the Home News and Tribune, as per the annual notice provided in a resolution adopted by this governing body on December 29, 1975.
Okay, you need to take roll call. Yeah, for this meeting you take, I mean, nobody's left, but you have to take roll call.
All right.
Just name off the names.
Just read
Okay.
me.
Around the whole table?
No,
Just
just
the
Okay.
commissioners.
All right, we have Louis Garlotti,
Here.
Kevin McTurnan,
Present.
Edwin Keith,
Here.
Andrea Ito White,
Here.
and then we have
One
Tony
absent.
Caputo, who is
Absent.
not here.
Yes, okay. 4 present, 1 absent. You got it? We're good to go.
Okay, we have minutes from the December 2016 meeting. Do any of the commissioners have any additions, corrections, deletions? Hearing none, can I get a motion to accept the minutes? And can I get a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Mitch, I believe you're up.
Okay, thank you. A few items. First, enterprise car share. The cars were delivered today, and the signs were installed, so now there are car share spaces on Bartlett and on Stone Streets off of College Avenue. That adds to the additional car share spaces that we have in both the Wellness Garage and in the Transit Village Garage. At last meeting, I had mentioned that we were looking into improving our wayfinding signage throughout the city, using these signs, having these signs installed to guide people to our various facilities, the park. Looks like we're going to order 67 signs to put in key places, intersections, and on thoroughfares leading into the city, so to help guide people to their destination.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen, but Super Fresh, well, Key Food changed their name to Super Fresh. Evidently, Key Food Co-op has decided to consolidate under one name. I don't know if you're familiar with Key Food, but they've gone under different names within the state of New Jersey. Food Universe, Key Food Marketplace, plain Key Food. So they decided to, so people aren't as confused, they're going to go with one name, which is Super Fresh, which was also, I believe, the name of A&P's store, which they had purchased a number of stores from when they went bankrupt. So they are going to be using the Super Fresh. It is the same owner as Key Food. None of that changes, and I am told that he will have the same assortment of goods, and just feels that this is makes the supermarket even stronger by having them consolidated.
So that doesn't require any adjustments to the lease?
No, just a DBA, because that's, our lease is not with
Right.
with Key Foods, it's
Okay.
with
Just wanted to
the
be-
operator operating under the name of Key Foods, so
Mhm.
just a DBA, doing business as.
Okay.
Okay. As many of you are aware, College Avenue, in order to increase pedestrian safety and make it more bike-friendly, we had a discussion with Rutgers University and asked us to relocate parking meters, in which they allowed us to add parking meters. In Lot 26, we're adding 20 meters, and also Lot 2, directly across the street, we're going to have 29 meters, which should be installed by early next week. Lot 26, those meters will be in force from 8 to 8 p.m., 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Lot 2 will have meters in force from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and also all day on Saturday. The good thing about Lot 2 right here is that it's right off of Eastern Avenue. I think it's going to be very attractive for the nighttime crowd and the weekend crowd to do, very easy access parking right up the street.
Mitch, that's a driveway directly across from this building?
Yeah, it's right next to Scarlet,
Nice.
Scarlet Fever. Scarlet Fever?
Yeah.
Scarlet Fever, yeah.
So that's 49, did you say 20 and 26 and 29 spaces?
There's 49.
49 total.
29. We actually, after all said and done, we lost 48 spaces, not lost, but we switched over 48 spaces off of College Avenue. There's actually 2 spaces in front of Rutgers Club that are remaining. So, and then obviously the parking meters on College Avenue between Hamilton and Somerset remain as well. We're also looking to add approximately 20 meters on Union Street, on one side of Union Street, which is the side that butts the yard. So that gives us additional parking during the day, obviously, time-limit parking. And I think that is all I have right now.
So Mitch, those
Yes.
meters on Union, that would be a 2 hour so that a student could go to a class?
Oh, they'd be the same,
potentially?
it'd be
Just like all the
uniform,
rest.
progressive rates.
Okay.
You know, if you want to spend 8 hours on a meter,
Could.
you're gonna pay.
Got it.
You know, it's gonna be more expensive than parking in the garage. You know, so, so if you pay a premium if you want to park on the street all day as opposed to parking in our garage, which is the purpose of the garage.
Great. Thanks.
Brett?
So the December 2016 financial statement was emailed. I missed out 2 pages, so I emailed it again later this afternoon. Our total revenue is 34 million with the expense of 24 million for December. Things won't change much except for bond adjustments if the auditors have, which probably the audit will start in the middle of February. We had savings in expense on salaries and snow removal, and revenue also went above budget because of meters.
Good. Any questions for Brett? Lenny?
I have nothing to report from you.
Public comment from the members of the public? Yes.
Yes, it's okay, I'll stand over here since there's a gentleman there. My name's Charles Cradaville, I'm from New Brunswick, I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today. And first I want to ask about a couple things on the reorg agenda. The bond counsel, Willentz Goldman Spitzer was selected over another firm, Waters McPherson McNeil. Can you tell me what the basis was for selecting Willentz instead of Waters McPherson? What was the reason for that?
I have a chart, I have to get back to you on that. I'll get back to you as far as what, we have different weighted scale as far as
Evaluation criteria.
evaluation criteria.
So you'll be able to send that to me
Yep.
via email? Great, all right, I'll look forward to that. Just wanted to ask about the recusals. I know Mr. Garlotti recused himself from 2 different items. Can you tell me why, Mr. Garlotti, why'd you recuse yourself?
Yes, which items with regard to?
General legal counsel and one other one, I'm not sure.
Right, okay, general legal, that would be Mr. Beer. He and I are doing some legal work in a private matter together, so I recuse myself, so nothing to do with the parking authority. So in the interest of transparency and disclosure, I am recusing myself.
News to me, you're a lawyer.
No, I'm a lawyer.
He's a lawyer.
We're
and he's
doing-
doing some
I'm
legal work
offering
for
him
me on a
legal-
private matter.
Right.
And
So
as
there'll be a
such,
conflict.
I'm making the disclosure.
Okay, this is a relatively new matter, I take it?
Correct.
Gotcha, thank you. And I guess, Mr. McTurnan, you recused yourself from one of the items, I guess, item R. Can you tell me why?
Yeah, I've done business with one of the people.
Which one of the people? Was that Timothy Haas?
No, he only
Timothy
recused
Haas is
himself
in
from
real
the real
estate
estate.
Oh, real estate appraiser. Who is, sorry, who's that?
Can't tell which firm. Not the
the guy
person,
in-
just the firm.
The firm in Livingston is Appraisal Consultants,
Appraisal Systems, maybe?
Appraisal Systems.
Oh, so you have some connection to that, you recuse yourself as such. Thank you. Thank you for that.
And I did recuse myself, just for clarity, on the labor attorney, and the reason for that was, I believe Mr. McDermott, who was with a previous firm, appeared before me in a prior arbitration matter that's no longer pending, but again, there was a relationship in the past that I'm aware of.
Thank you very much. So I appreciate the updates from the executive director. Did also want to ask about one other item on that agenda, is the enforcement officers. Are there more enforcement officers now than there were last year, or is this the same number?
No, it's the same number.
Actually, there's one less. We have one less part-time right now. We have a position that we're looking to fill for a part-time enforcement officer.
Okay. And I'm curious about the LPR and what role that will play. Would that mean there'd be a need for more enforcement officers, less enforcement officers, or the same amount?
Don't have the answer right now on that. Right now, until they get trained and we see how it works out, you know, I can't commit to whether it'll be less. I don't believe there's ever gonna, let me retract that. I don't believe we'll need more, but I haven't made a decision if we need less at this point.
Gotcha. And I do have some concerns about the LPR system, specifically with regards to how the authority will deal with requests from law enforcement for the data that's collected, the information that's being accumulated as part of that program. I know it's been said previously that you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Once we roll out the system citywide, we'll develop a policy for that. But I would counter by saying that the system is already in place at the Jersey Ave Park and Ride. Folks who park in that lot or even drive near that lot conceivably could have their plates captured, and the date, time, and location of their car being there would be data that's being collected by the parking authority. And I'm curious if the parking
You mean
authority...
not driving on Jersey Avenue? Is that what you mean?
I'm saying, if you're driving around with cameras that are capturing everyone's license plate and the date, time, and location of that event, that's data that the parking authority's collected. I'm curious, what practices do you have to protect that?
It's data comparing to basically a whitelist. So in other words, if you're not in the system, the camera doesn't record the license plate. It doesn't record what license
There's no
plate.
permanent
No.
data,
Right.
so if...
No,
so
it's just, you have to be on a list. So, you know, if you have license plate ABC 123, that's in the list. That's the license plate it's looking at. It doesn't care about, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Follow
The
that?
purpose of the equipment that we're using is not to go out and capture every license plate, which is then recorded and downloaded somewhere. It's actually the opposite, is what Mitch is trying to explain. There's a database of approved permit holders, whether it's residents, whether it's Jersey Avenue. When it drives through the environment that it's checking, it's cross-matching the license plate that's red against the database. If it's red and you're in the database, you're permitted. In this case, they're looking for people in a specific area, not on the list. You're not taking the universe of every license plate observed and downloading it to a database. It's actually the opposite. It's cross-matching database license plates observed against a specific universe of approved people that can be in that geographic area.
Right, and obviously, there is a record made if someone is not eligible to be there because there's a ticket created.
Right.
In that case, correct.
Right.
So my
That's
question
the
is
same
this.
as it is now.
If the police director, who happens to be on this board, and his agency decide that we want to know who was in the Jersey Avenue Park and Ride at 5 p.m. on January, whatever today is, then does the parking authority have a policy for when and how it would distribute that information to other agencies?
First of all, as we've told you before, there is presently no policy related to the data. And unless until we have to deal with the issue, we don't deal with hypotheticals as you're proposing. And this is not question and answer. It's you're here under public comment, either as yourself as a resident of the city of New Brunswick, and you have your 2 minutes to state your piece, which is what you think it might be, what you might like it to be, what you don't like it to be, or as a reporter, but it's not question and answer, it's not a press conference, it's public comment, okay? We've explained this to you before, and I know you don't like the answer, because you brought it back again and you telling us what you think it should be. We've heard what you said, we've explained to you, in fact, how the database works. Okay, your hypothetical is not one we'll entertain.
Okay, fair enough. I think my hypothetical will become reality if the parking authority's plans follow through. And so I think that by the end of the year, the parking authority has expressed that it wants to implement this system citywide for all blocks that are currently permit parking only, right? That's how the policy will be enforced.
The entire city is not an RPP zone. There are specific
But much of it is.
neighborhood, no, not much of it. There are No, not much of it. You may live in the universe of where you think it's much of, which is around the university campus.
I
but
actually
no,
live in a different
much-
area,
Well,
and-
well, I don't know where you live, but I'm telling you, no, in fact, not much of the city at all is in an RPP zone, so you are mistaken. So we're not gonna deal with alternative facts, which is a new word. We're gonna deal with reality facts, and the reality facts is that much of the city is not in an RPP zone. I've heard what you had to say, we understand what you've said, and we haven't addressed the issue, and you are welcome, as you have, as a citizen, not as a newspaper reporter, you have to decide which role you are in each instance, to express, if you have an opinion as a citizen, which you may, because it's not a press conference, it's not a question and answer. So we've heard what you had to say. We agree that we don't agree.
Okay, that's fair enough. I do think that everyone has rights, no matter what part of the city they live in.
We again, that's a great statement, and again, I need to know who you are, because when you stand up to, you identify yourself in both capacities. As a newspaper reporter, your job is not an advocate, your job is to report the news. Now, if you're Charlie Cravenfield, a private citizen, and you want to say that you think that in some way, shape, or form, that the public interest is not being served, that privacy isn't being served, we heard you, okay? And we've addressed it, and we told you, we'll continue to monitor it, and if we feel there's a need for a policy, we'll address it.
Okay, I feel there absolutely is a need for a policy, especially if you're going to expand this system to additional areas beyond where it's already implemented. I do want to thank the attorney and Ms. Ito White for filing an amended financial disclosure statement as a result of the issues I brought up at the meetings in November and December. That statement was filed on January 20th. Unfortunately, I believe it's still deficient. I'll tell you, I grew up in a town called Middlesex Borough, and that is not where Ms. Ito White's home is, but that is where she says she owns property. So could I hear, Mr. Chair, through the chair, could you ask Ms. Ito White if she owns property in Middlesex Borough or in New Brunswick? Because the statement appears to indicate the wrong town.
She's filed her statement. She's
Certified
filed
to
statement.
owning property in Middlesex Borough.
Well, again, if I may, Mr. Chairman,
Go right ahead.
again, when you're online, when you have to check these things off, there's county, there's city. Thank you, as we thanked you the last time, for indicating there was a deficiency. If there is a clerical error, because as you know, and as we advised you when you brought this forward the last time, all sources of income were disclosed. What was not disclosed was where it came from, in the case of the Social Security Office and her husband's pension. But she did in fact disclose that funds were received and the address, and wasn't clear that she had to put in fact, and as she put in the initials of her employer and not the actual precise name. So it would be actually much more helpful, rather than, what I consider to some degree ambush journalism. You could say, Mr. Beer, thank you very much, as you did. You started with the compliment, thank you very much. And you could say,
Sincere.
I think there might be an entry error here, because it appears that the property may be located in New Brunswick as opposed to Middlesex. There's no conspiracy. If there's a mistake, we'll correct that one as well.
Great.
And thank you.
Terrific. And yeah, if you recall in the November meeting, I asked, could you send me a copy when you file it for specifically this reason? So if there were additional errors, I could bring them up via email or not have to come here to this meeting. But
We will address it. Thank
here we are today. So I do also, at the request of Mr. Garlotti, I have a document I want to share with you, Mr. Beer, and the other board members here. This is the statement from the state of New Jersey about financial disclosure statements. And you'll see on there it says that you
Yes.
have to file your annual statements by April 30th or within 30 days of your appointment.
Right.
So I believe if a board member were to join the board in the middle of the year, as Ms. Ito White did in 2015, she should have filed within 30 days of that, and it's pretty clear at this point that she didn't. So because Mr. Garlotti had said I could help educate the board about that, I just wanted to follow through on that request and educate the board that doing so is not in compliance. And I do want to ask for a couple updates on the demolition projects as for when they'll be complete. I guess Farron is your territory, but also I heard at the last meeting Wolfson was supposed to start coming down soon. When can we?
Wolfson's supposed to be, the Middlesex County is running that project. I don't have an answer for you on that. Couldn't tell you. They were supposed to start. I don't know what the delay is. As far as Farron, as you can see, they're moving right ahead. It's going to be, a few more months before it's completed.
Well, it is quite a sight to see, I think it's moving ahead quite fast. Thanks for the update on Superfresh, and just wanted to get a total number of the number of decks that the parking authority currently runs. Is eight? Is eight the correct number? And are there plans for any new decks this year? I know that
This year? No.
Okay, well, how about with that new skyscraper they want to build by the state field? Is that going to be a parking authority deck affiliated with that? Is that the plan?
Right now, we're in talks. There's a strong possibility it would be a parking authority garage there. Located. Strong possibility.
Highly
It's not
likely
guaranteed.
that
It's not
there will
guaranteed.
be a parking authority garage. Okay, well, thank you for your time. Thank you for answering my questions, and have a great day and a Happy New Year.
I think our chairman's dying. Sorry, he's back.
Old business, I'm sorry, resolutions. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion for the payment resolution in January.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution approving Bright Consulting for 2017.
Yeah, this is, oh, sorry.
You have to, yes.
All in favor? Sorry about this.
It's okay. Oh, we have to, I'm sorry,
Adopt the
calendar.
calendar for
Just
2017.
so everyone's aware, we're looking, we continue the tradition of meeting the fourth Wednesday of every month, except in 2017, November of 2017, we're looking to hold a meeting on the fifth Wednesday of that month, which equates to November 29th. And in December, looking to hold a meeting on the third Wednesday of that month, which equates to December 20th, 2017. Those are the two changes.
Okay. Given that schedule, can I get a motion to adopt the 2017 meeting schedule?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Old business.
Just pedestrian bridge, just waiting for Amtrak and New Jersey Transit to get back to us as they review the preliminary design of the pedestrian bridge.
Okay. Any new business issues?
I have no new business.
Closed session?
I do have two items in closed session, one being personnel, the other being legal.
Okay. Can I get a motion to enter closed session?
I'll make a motion.
And a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, back in open session, we have one item, so I'd like to see if we can get a motion to accept the wage and salary administration guidelines that were presented to us before. Get a motion on that?
Make a
Motion
motion
for
for
the
the salary
second.
increase.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.